If you happen to find yourself in a bleak landscape on a dying world, you may come across a house. It's a very old and lonely house, with a garden in the back where lots of flowers and vegetables were growing. Inside this house sat a very old man, who could usually be found rocking slowly in his chair. His weary bones were creaking more and more these days, and something inside him knew that he didn't have long left for this life. He had always said that he wanted to die beside the love of his life, surrounded by family. He wanted to look back on his life and think, yeah, I did okay. On this particular day, he was rocking in his chair as per usual, but something was off that day. Something made him frown and lie back further into his chair. For the first time in a very long time, he began to recall all the people he had shared his life with. His parents, his husband, all his children and grandchildren too. Except that's not quite how it happened. The right person never came along. His children were all just thoughts, like grains of sand on a cold winter wind. And it was growing colder, day by day. The happy ending he was craving never came. He was always too focused on his work, on trying his best to make ends meet. And that was all before the disaster. Now, either by some act of God or because of some cruel joke played on him by the universe, he was the only one left. Everyone else had either fled the planet or perished. As far as he knew, he was alone. The last human left on this doomed world. He sighed, and then started to make his way to his kitchen. It wasn't a tidy kitchen by any means, but it also wasn't what you would call dirty. Each countertop had an array of different wrappers of biscuits and chocolates that he could find. It wasn't out of laziness that he didn't dispose of them. They were mementos to him, memories of a past long destroyed by the disaster. He knew that once he ate that particular chocolate or biscuit, that was it. No more could be found anywhere. But even on a dying world, he could still find ways of making it provide for him. Years ago, he found that some soil close to his house was still fertile, so he began to grow different plants, flowers, and vegetables to make meals and teas with. Today, as he gazed out of the kitchen window to witness what could be his final sunset, he thought that dandelion tea took his fancy. He might just have a biscuit, too. A chocolate-covered one, maybe. Now, where did he keep those biscuits?
The cupboard, above the sink. You were very particular about keeping them there.
The old man spun around when he heard the voice. A stranger was standing in his living room, next to the old sofa. He couldn't tell whether this stranger was a man or a woman, nor could he clearly see how they were dressed. there was something strangely familiar about them, even if he couldn't recognize the face. Who are you? Are you an angel? Or the devil himself? The stranger smiled slightly.
I am neither angel nor demon. Although, to be honest, I have often been called such things by whomever I appear to.
The old man started to relax, now coming to the realization of who this person was. He smiled back and put the kettle on the fireplace. Ah, then I believe I know exactly who you are. I was rather expecting you to come by sooner, old friend. The strangers sat on the sofa, their smile still in place. It was a kind smile, not unlike one a mother would give to her child.
Old friend? Why do you address me as such?
Oh, we have met on several occasions. First, my father, then my mother, my sister, my best friend. Yes, we have met. Even if I could not see you, I have always felt your presence.
Then you know why I am here. You know what I bring. My gift.
The old man paused. The stranger's gift. Every time he has witnessed this gift, it brought only pain and sorrow in his life. This time, however, this gift was intended for him, and him alone. For the first time, the thought of it brought him a small peace of mind. Mine is not to question, only to accept my fate. I've lived a long life, and these past few years have been most miserable. Tell me, old friend, how long do I have? Enough for a cup of tea?
I cannot say how long precisely, but yes, enough for a cup of tea.
Would you like to join me before I go? One last cup of tea with a friend? The stranger paused, thinking.
Why not? It would be nice. Thank you, friend.
Despite these words, the old man didn't move to make the tea. Even when the kettle started to whistle angrily, he made no moves. A moment's hesitation stopped him. If he was surely to spend his last few moments in this house, he wasn't going to spend them just drinking tea. Do I have time to write something down?
A message? Not that I don't want to refuse a last request, but is there any point? There's no one left. You're the only one here.
Well, not a message, the old man explained. A story. My story. If I am to leave with you, I would like to leave something of myself behind.
It will have to be the edited highlights, I'm afraid. You don't have that long left.
Oh. That soon, eh? The old man paused, as if pondering what to write. Without looking back at the stranger, he took the kettle off the fireplace, poured 2 cups of tea, and walked to his desk. Not saying a word, the stranger took their tea and began to drink. If it is to be soon, the old man said, then The ending, I think. Let me mark down my final hours. The stranger remained silent, and so the old man began to write. This is where the story ends. This is where my story ends. If you are reading this and wondering what happened to this world, then I'm afraid I must disappoint you, for I do not know. Those who knew have either left for the stars or died in the disaster. All I have to tell is my story. And, as I said, this is where it ends. My old friend has been patient. They're waiting for me, and I am tired. I think I'll sit back on my old chair now and just rest. I'm tired. You know, I think I did all right.